defending those who seek to live out their faith, important as it is also about defending the pillars of strong and democratic and free and pluralistic societies. We have quite a treat in store for you, but I would like to suggest one other reason why Earth is so important in our world today, and that is that even though we live in a time of unprecedented material sort of prosperity, even in parts of the world that struggle, we also live in a time of unprecedented hunger for meaning in life. And only one thing can fill that hunger, and that is giving to everyone the right to seek truth for themselves, to live their lives with integrity, following the truth that they have been given. And we are about defending that very basic right. So we thank you for being here. You really are going to be learning from some of the wisest and most knowledgeable voices around these topics. And we're very excited to kick this off. And I guess I get the opportunity to introduce the very first presentation, which will be video remarks from our Secretary of State, Antony Blinken. And I want to underscore, because I think not only Secretary Blinken, but many other people from the current administration will be joining us in person and by video over the course of the next 2 days. It underscores the fact that this is an entirely nonpartisan issue. Everybody, Democrat and Republican, right and left and center, have to come together to defend this foundational right. And I am very pleased and grateful that we have had the support we have from the Biden administration in advancing this important freedom. So with that, you and we'll cue the first video and then the panels will begin. Thank you so much and have a great morning.
I'm grateful for the opportunity to speak at the second annual International Religious Freedom Summit. Like all of you at this gathering, the United States has a deep and abiding commitment to protecting and promoting religious freedom for all people, everywhere. Freedom of religion is a human right. It's a vital part of our identity. To follow whichever belief system we embrace, or to choose not to follow any belief system at all. To practice our faith in public or in private, with our loved ones, our communities, or by ourselves. Supporting religious freedom is a core American value. We know the world is safer and more stable when people have the chance to practice their faith freely and to contribute their fullest selves to their community's success. Since the last time I had a chance to address the summit, the United States, led by the Office of International Religious Freedom of the State Department, has continued to advance religious freedom worldwide. In January, Zeng was sworn in as our Ambassador for International Religious Freedom. He and his team helped drive forward our foreign policy priorities, including by engaging with foreign governments and supporting our efforts to protect the rights of all individuals, and by partnering with civil society, advocates, and religious leaders across faiths to advance cooperation, mutual respect, and the meaningful and equal inclusion of all. In March, I made the determination that Burma's military committed genocide against humanity in 2016 and 2017 with the intent to destroy predominantly Muslim Rohingya, in addition to decades of atrocities against other ethnic and religious minority groups. And just a few weeks ago, the State Department released the 2021 International Religious Freedom Report, which offers a thorough, fact-based review of the state of religious freedom in nearly 200 countries and territories around the world. It noted how we're seeing rising hate in many places, including anti-Semitism, anti-Muslim sentiment, and attacks on Christians, religious minorities, and people who choose not to believe. This just makes this work even more important. And the State Department will continue to stand up for religious freedom worldwide and speak up about threats, attacks, discrimination, and other abuses when and wherever they occur. We can't do this work without our partners across civil society. They lift up the voices of those suffering from persecution. They open our eyes to atrocities and abuses on the ground. And they offer support, shelter, a safe haven to practice their faith openly, or a platform to speak up to those suffering. I'd like to thank our partners across more than 35 governments and multilateral organizations who have helped monitor religious abuses and respond collectively, and in so doing, multiply our shared reach. For our part, the United States will continue to stand up for religious freedom worldwide, including in venues like the United Kingdom's International Ministerial Conference on Freedom of Religion or Belief. As we go forward, my ask of our civil society partners is this: keep partnering with us and with each other especially across faiths and beliefs, to advance the cause of religious freedom. Keep documenting abuses, as well as progress, and keep holding governments like ours accountable to defend these rights. Our communities and our countries will be better off for your efforts. Thanks, everybody.
Hello, I'm Senator Marco Rubio. I'm honored to serve alongside Senator Cardin as the honorary congressional co-chair of the 2022 International Religious Freedom Summit. Freedom of religion is a God-given right that's afforded to every person. Our nation is blessed to have a constitution that protects that right and proud traditions of defending that sacred principle. Tragically, many around the world are deprived of religious freedom, including Uyghur Muslims in Xinjiang, Buddhists in Tibet, and Christians in Africa and in the Middle East. In our own hemisphere, religious freedom is attacked by authoritarian regimes in places like Nicaragua and Cuba. The United States has a critical role to play in shining a light on religious freedom violations worldwide, and we're working to make that happen. Last year, my Uyghur Forced Labor Prevention Act, that became the law. For too long, our nation turned a blind eye to how nationless companies and large corporations benefited from slave labor. This new law will change that, helping to ensure that Americans are no longer complicit in the Chinese Communist Party's genocide of predominantly Muslim ethnic groups in Xinjiang. The law went into effect this week, and it's now up to all of us to make sure that the government is fully enforcing it. I'm also pleased to announce that we have a bipartisan agreement to reauthorize the U.S. Commission on International Religious Freedom so that it can continue its important work of highlighting religious freedom violations across the globe. The Commission is absolutely necessary. In the past year alone, it has helped us identify how conflict and chaos led to violations in Afghanistan, Ukraine, Nigeria, and beyond. I'm grateful to all those in attendance today for their leadership and their dedication to the cause of religious freedom. I look forward to continuing to work together to ensure that all people are afforded the right to safely and peacefully worship. Thank you, and may God bless you all.
Please welcome the President of the Republic of Guatemala, the Honorable Alejandro Giamatti. Please welcome the Minister of Law and Human Rights, the Honorable Yasona Labi.
Good morning, everybody. The Honorable Co-Chairs, Madam Katrina Lantos-Sweat and Mr. Zeng, Excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to the organizing committee for inviting me to take part in this important summit. It is an honor for me to be here among all world dignitaries and have this opportunity to deliver a keynote speech at this important forum with the theme, Why IRF Matters in the Modern World. At the outset, let me refer to the growing number of multidimensional tensions around the globe. Such tension as inter and inter-religious conflicts have become very intense. And in many cases, the root causes have little to do with religion, but triggered by political power, economic disparity, social and cultural background, demography, and ethnicity. It requires common efforts to develop, to improve mutual understanding, tolerance, and reconciliation among peoples and cultures in different areas of the world. Our gathering at the IRF Summit can address this issue comprehensively. As participants of this summit represent government and civil society leaders from different countries. We can also exchange our experience and best practices on how to manage the challenges of social cultural diversity, promoting religious freedom around the globe. Indeed, IRF can contribute significantly to maintaining international peace and security. Allow me to share with you some facts. Indonesia is home to around 280 million people, making it the world's fourth most populous nation after China, India, and United States. It has more than 300 ethnic groups, 700 tribal languages, and a diverse culture and religion. This great diversity is reflected in the country's motto, Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, which means unity in diversity. Indonesia is state party to 8 main instruments of human rights, namely civil and political rights, economic, social, and cultural rights, anti-torture, elimination of discrimination against women, elimination of race discrimination, children's rights, rights of persons with disabilities, and rights of migrant workers. Indonesia has also developed partnerships in the form of bilateral human rights dialogue with several countries. In terms of religion, Indonesia is the largest Muslim country in the world, where 80% of the population adhere to Islam and the rest are Christians, Hindus, Buddhists, and other beliefs. Being the largest Muslim population, Indonesia is not an Islamic country with Sharia law. Indonesia implements a mixed legal system with civil law as the main legal system adopted from the Dutch colonial law. In some cases, we also recognize customary law and religious from Muslim population. We do have shortcomings and face challenges in maintaining harmony and among diverse society. That is why our nation Pontificalis aimed to choose Pancasila, which means 5 principles, as the official foundation and philosophy of the state of Indonesia. It consists of, first, believe in one Almighty God. Second, just and civilized humanity. Third, the unity of Indonesia. Fourth, democracy guided by the wisdom of deliberations among representatives. And fifth, social justice. These 5 principles were set up by Indonesia's first president, Sukarno, during the formulation of the 1945 Constitution, and is a compromise among different factions. It continues to be the nation's foundation and philosophy that unites the diverse population, Indonesian population, until now. Ladies and gentlemen, freedom of religion is a non-derogable right, which cannot be infringed as a fundamental right as enshrined in Article 18 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Guaranteeing full equality of religious freedom for all Indonesian citizens is the basic principle protected by law and valued by culture as the way of life of Indonesian people. Basically, efforts to promote and protect human rights are clearly mandated by the 1945 Constitution. Indonesia's Constitution clearly stated in Article 28 that everyone is free to adhere to a religion and worship according to the religion. Article 29 affirms that the state guarantees the freedom of religion and the right for all citizens to practice it as the fundamental human rights. These provisions are further regulated in various laws and regulations, including Law Number 39, year 1999, on human rights. In general, the life of religious freedom in Indonesia is not as bad as reflected in some reports. We have long experience practicing religious freedom even during the colonial rule and before we gained our independence in 1945. The issue is more dominant now after the reform era started in 1998 and respect of human rights is strengthened. It raises some concerns when the right to freedom of religion is considered as an exclusive right enjoyed by some people without respecting the right of others to have different religions and beliefs. This situation certainly requires a better management of religious pluralism based on the principle of inclusiveness, which accommodates the need of all followers and believers in the quest for spiritual and moral well-being. The enforcement of religious freedom in Indonesia raises more complex problems, as the freedom of expression is also advancing. For example, groups that previously did not dare to speak are now starting to appear in public and express their opinions, which have both positive and negative impacts. We still face challenges in promoting religious freedom in Indonesia. One of the problems that has recently emerged is violence against adherents of a religious minority, which is seen by the majority as having deviated from principle of their religion. The government has taken steps and measures to solve existing differences so as not to lead to conflict and violence. By enforcing prevailing laws and regulations, as well as involving soft power to find a solution in protecting all Indonesians without any discrimination. Critics blame the government for applying blasphemy laws in Indonesia. But what has gone wrong is not the law itself. The rule of law is required as a set of norms and code of conduct to maintain public order, peace, and security. It provides access to justice and protects the most vulnerable in our society. Blasphemy law is intended for maintaining interreligious harmony, but to be effective, it requires enhanced people's legal awareness and compliance. It requires continued effort to build mutual understanding and enhance tolerance in our diverse religious society. We remain committed to addressing the challenges of enhancing religious freedom in Indonesia. Despite some frictions among a small number of servant believers, in general, the majority of Indonesian people continue to live side by side harmoniously. Great tolerance toward other religion is also practiced by the society in daily life. It is common to see the tradition in Indonesia where neighbors with different religions share their joys over religious festivities. The government enforces a policy that all religious festivities are public holidays in Indonesia to encourage people to respect and join the celebration of different religions. This practice is deeply ingrained in Indonesian culture and tradition. Indonesia has been promoting interfaith dialogue at national and international level as a forum of exchange of views and discussion in order to create a better understanding and tolerance to different religions and beliefs. This issue has also been a topic of discussion at Bali Democracy Forum as an annual event hosted by Indonesia and attended by world dignitaries. Religious radicalism and terrorism are also challenging issues for Indonesia to cope with. We continue to intensively working to prevent violent extremism in the society by establishing a counter-terrorism unit who works with religious leaders, prominent community leaders, as well as suspected convicted terrorists and rebel fighters from Syria who are prepared to cooperate after completing their rehabilitation process. We also work with other countries in the region to prevent cross-border terrorism and radicalism. In order to strengthen freedom of religion and through education, earlier this month, on June 8, 2022, the Director General of Human Rights under my office for Poland signed a cooperation agreement with the Lemena Institute, who yesterday has talked about the work of Institute Lemena, the first day. Cooperation agreement with the Lemena Institute, which in partnership with many other organizations has trained thousands of Indonesian teachers on cross-cultural religious literacy. As part of this cooperation, in September 2022, we plan to host an international virtual conference on religious freedom, rule of law, and cross-cultural religious literacy. It will be open to public, and hopefully you can all take part in the conference. All these efforts have contributed to the existence of social harmony in our diverse society, to the Indonesia's growing economic and political stability. Ladies and gentlemen, promoting religious freedom globally should be our joint effort in maintaining international justice, peace, and stability. We certainly can collaborate while maintaining each country's sovereignty and characteristics. The best approach is to engage in dialogues and exchange experience and to help each other in addressing the existing challenges instead of criticizing policies taken by the governments. We are open to work with others in addressing the issue of religious freedom in the country. I thank you.
Please welcome the President of the Republic of Guatemala, the Honorable Alejandro Giamatti.
Good morning. It's my pleasure to be here with you. Thank you for the invitation. And my English is not very well. We use a translator. I prefer to speak in Spanish. Thank you. Muchísimas gracias. Es un verdadero gusto, es un honor estar aquí presente.
Thank you for the pleasure and honor for me being before you.
La lucha por la vida, por la libertad religiosa, es una lucha cada día un poco más complicada.
And I'm going to tell you that the fight for life and freedom, for life and family values, it is getting worse and more complicated.
Y les voy a poner un ejemplo. Yo asumí el cargo de presidente de Guatemala el 14 de enero del año 2020.
I'm going to use it as an example. I assumed and took the role of President of Guatemala in 2020, February.
Y juré sobre la Constitución Política de la República de Guatemala defenderla y hacerla que se defendiera.
And I swore to defend the Constitution of the Republic of Guatemala.
Y el artículo 3 de la Constitución Política de Guatemala dice que el Estado de Guatemala respeta la vida desde su concepción.
In Article number 3 in the Constitution of Guatemala says that the Republic of Guatemala honors life from the moment of conception.
Entonces, dejar una política pública que hiciera que se respetara la vida desde su concepción hasta la muerte natural.
So we,
Programas y proyectos del gobierno de los distintos ministerios para proteger la vida desde la concepción hasta la muerte natural, la cual quedó promulgada mediante un acuerdo gubernativo el 20 de julio del 2021.
we started 90 something policies that will honor that life, and we constituted it in July of 2021.
Yo creo que todos ustedes conocen qué es la OEA.
I'm sure all of you know what the American States is.
Guatemala firmó en 1948 el Tratado de la Convención Interamericana sobre los Derechos Humanos.
Guatemala signed the treaties that was over of the American, the treaty of the defense of life.
Somos uno de los fundadores de países fundadores de la Organización de Estados Americanos
We're one of the founders of these OEA or American states.
y en esa convención dice que los países de América respetan la vida.
In the articles of that organization, it says that the American states honor and respect life from its conception too.
El año pasado yo tuve el honor de firmar y adherirme al Consenso de Ginebra.
Last year, I had the honor and the privilege of being able to sign off the Council of Geneva,
Que protege la vida desde su concepción.
which protects life from its conception.
Fui el país número 35 en firmarla.
I was country number 35th in signing it off.
Pero Dios sabe que el que hace las cosas correctamente también le cae.
But God knows that those that are pursuing righteousness, they also have to pay a price.
No es fácil. Hasta el momento todo lo que les he contado suena fácil. Está en la Constitución, firmamos convenios, hicimos políticas públicas y todo diría, bonito sabe de nada, con que respeta la vida de su concepción en todos los sentidos.
So in the initial stages, it seemed easy. We honor the Constitution, we established public policy, we were able to sign different signs, and it looked like Guatemala was a place to be.
Guatemala es un país pequeño,
As you know, Guatemala is a small country.
Tennessee o Kentucky, creo que Guatemala, pero somos más o menos de ese tamaño.
For those of you that do
embargo, somos un país de fe.
However, we're a country of faith.
La mayoría de los guatemaltecos practicamos una religión.
The
La gran mayoría.
great majority of Guatemalans practice that religion.
Por lo tanto, uno diría, Guatemala no tiene por qué tener problemas.
So anyone who say Guatemala shouldn't have any issues.
Ayer estuve, llamé a una reunión del Consejo Permanente de la OEA y fui a la OEA.
I went to the OEA, or American States Organization.
¿Y saben a qué fui?
And you know what I went
A protestar porque Guatemala fue incluida en el capítulo 4B de los violadores de los derechos humanos.
I went to say a protest and to be against being included in the Article 4C, which
4B. 4B.
4B, which puts us in the same place as Cuba and Venezuela.
Cuba, Venezuela y Nicaragua. Yo soy violador de los derechos humanos como Cuba, Venezuela y Nicaragua. ¿Y saben por qué?
And I was told that I was a violator of human rights like Cuba and Venezuela and Nicaragua. Do you know why?
Porque firmé el Consejo de Ginebra y porque tenemos una política que protege la vida desde su concepto.
Because I signed the Geneva Convention and we also have a rule that protects life.
Que me pongan en el capítulo 20, 48, 84, el capítulo 20, pero en Guatemala se respetará la vida desde su concepto.
I don't care what kind of chapter in Guatemala, we're committed to respect and honor life.
Muchos de ustedes vienen de países en donde se persiguen a las personas por su fe.
Many of you come from countries where you're persecuted because of your faith.
Estamos en el año 2022 y todavía se persigue a las personas porque creen en Dios.
We are in year 2020 and we still persecute people because they believe in God.
Pero no importa la religión, no importa la persecución, porque Dios protegerá a quienes hablan de Él, a quienes cumplen sus mandatos, pero sobre todo a quienes ejerciendo el poder hacen que efectivamente esa palabra de Dios se pueda volver realidad.
But it doesn't matter the kind of persecution that you believe or practice, because God cares for His own, those that follow Him, those that believe in Him, and those that seek to live life according to principles that honor life.
Y probablemente el mundo es que está al revés. Lo bueno parece mal,
And maybe the world is right now. The good appears as bad, and the bad appears as good.
pero los que no debemos de perder la conciencia somos los que creemos y somos los que sabemos que en este momento de tribulación en el mundo lo que tenemos que hacer es unirnos.
But those of us that believe and have our good conscience, we believe that there's a need and the time is now for us to unify our efforts and be able to be together.
Pero no solo la Comisión Interamericana de Derechos Humanos me condenó
Not only the Human Rights Commission condemned me
por haber firmado el consenso de Ginebra,
because I signed the consensus of Geneva,
también el Parlamento de Estados Unidos,
but also the Department of State here in the U.S.
y nos pone comparado como un régimen de Corea del Norte.
And they compare us to a regime like North Korea.
No estoy tan gordo como el presidente de Corea,
I am not as big as the president of Korea.
pero a eso han llegado.
But that is as far as they have gotten.
Se trata de levantar mentiras por defender la fe.
Because you are defending faith, there are going to be lies that are going to rise against you.
Por defender mis creencias.
Because I'm seeking to believe my beliefs, to protect my beliefs.
Yo soy médico de profesión
As a professional, I'm a physician.
y cuando hice mi juramento de médico, juré proteger la vida.
And when I made the vow or the oath, I signed the oath as a physician, I swore that I was going to protect life.
Como católico,
As a Catholic,
como médico,
as a physician,
como presidente,
and as a president.
en todos lados me aparece la obligación de respetar la vida de su concepto.
In every way, I am obligated to honor the things that I believe in life particularly.
Yo no sé qué pasa conmigo en medio que llegue a la presidencia.
I me after a year and a half of what I have left over my presidency.
I worry about the day after. Porque esos enemigos que no creen en lo que nosotros creemos,
Because those enemies that do not believe or ascribe to the things
en
we
todo lo
believe,
que nosotros creemos,
and everything that we together believe,
no van a descansar
they're not going to rest,
de tratar de callar las voces.
to try to shut down the voices.
Están tratando de decir lo que es correcto.
They're trying to say what is the right thing to do.
Fuimos nombrados capital iberoamericana unida.
We were named the capital life in Iberoamerica.
Y el 9 de marzo de este año,
And in March 9th of this year,
en el Palacio Nacional,
in the National Palace,
revelamos un monumento
an open monument,
por la vida.
a monument for life.
Llegaron personas de 22 países,
There were 28 countries represented
60 delegaciones,
and 60 delegations.
más de 5,000 personas puestas en la plaza,
Over 5,000 people that gathered in the main plaza.
porque celebramos que Guatemala es la capital por vida de Iberoamérica.
Because we celebrated that Guatemala has become the capital for life in Iberoamerica.
Y fue increíble. Estaban presentes los ministros de todas las religiones existentes en Guatemala.
And it was amazing. Presently, there were all the ministers of all the religions that are in Guatemala.
Vimos a un rabino vino darse la mano con un humano.
We noticed and observed a rabbi, a Jewish rabbi, to shake hands with an imam.
A un pastor evangélico con un obispo católico.
We a pastor, an evangelical pastor, shaking hands with a bishop, a Catholic bishop.
Por primera vez en la historia nos reunimos el presidente con todas las religiones en Guatemala.
For the first time in our history, the president gathered with all the religions represented in the country.
¿Y qué nos unió?
What is the verse again?
Nos unió la fe y la creencia que hay que respetar la vida de Jesús.
It was a faith, but also the belief that we all have to respect and honor life.
Porque no importa qué religión sea,
Because it doesn't matter what religion you're
los
from,
principios son los mismos,
the principles are the same,
los valores son los mismos.
the values are the same.
Pero muchas veces nos encontramos con que nos diferenciamos los unos a los otros.
But many times we pay attention or focus on the things that separate us and make us different.
A partir de ese momento, los unitarios conformáramos una mesa multireligiosa.
Up to that point, from that point on, I invited them to form a table where we could come and sit together.
Porque esa constitución que yo juré respetar y hacer que se respetara,
Because that constitution that I swore on to respect and to make sure
en su artículo 36
in the article number 36,
dice que en Guatemala hay libertad de culto.
because it says that we believe in the freedom of religious practice.
Y se debe, ya sea en público o en privado, se debe respetar lo que la persona cree.
And whether in public places or in private situations, that freedom should be respected. Whatever person believes.
Y hoy no solo tenemos una mesa interreligiosa,
We not only have a interreligious table,
sino que recientemente nombré a un comisionado presidencial que va a garantizar con el diálogo permanente con todas las religiones que ese proceso de libertad de culto y religión sea una realidad en Guatemala y no hay nada que lo menos.
I just appointed a commissioner, a presidential commission that will ensure that that kind of freedom is honored, respected, and is followed. And to be able to say that every service, every faith could serve and be performed and can be enacted in the way that they feel most comfortable.
Las cosas han cambiado
But things are changing.
y un país pequeño
And even a small country as Guatemala,
que recibió una promesa de Dios
that received a promise from God,
cuando Guatemala fue el voto decisivo para la partición del Estado de Israel en las Naciones Unidas,
when he received the decisive vote to be able to partake in the
seamos
Israel. whether we're Catholics or Catholics.
Nosotros creemos que Guatemala, en la promesa de Dios, que Guatemala se convertirá en faro de luz para las naciones.
We believe that Guatemala, with the favor of God, will become a lighthouse for the nations.
Y si ustedes van a Guatemala, al Palacio Nacional,
And if you go to the National Palace in Guatemala,
van a encontrar el globo terráqueo,
you're going to see the globe, the earth.
y ahí en el centro de las Américas,
And in the center of the Americas,
en donde está Guatemala,
where Guatemala is found,
sale una luz que siempre está encendida.
there's a light that is always turned on.
Para recordarnos que tenemos que luchar por lo que creemos.
To remind us that we have to fight for the things we believe in.
No importa contra quién nos enfrentemos. Contra quién nos enfrentemos.
Regardless of what kind of things we face against.
Estoy convencido que en mi gobierno dejaremos un legado mejor de lo que encontramos.
We believe that our government is going to leave a legacy better than what we found.
Tengan la certeza que vamos a luchar día con día, incansablemente, por aquellos que no tienen voz.
Rest assured that we're going to fight day in and day out on behalf of those that don't feel they have a voice.
Pero que tienen el derecho de nacer para tener su voz.
But they have the right to be born to exercise that voice.
Que vamos a luchar todos los días, porque todos aquellos niños que tengan voz puedan seguir las creencias de que sus padres les indiquen, lo que los padres les enseñen.
We're committed to day by day to be able to fight over those children now that are older, to be able to honor the teachings and the faith that the parents will teach them.
Para que podamos tener cada día un pueblo con más religión, un pueblo con más principios, un pueblo con más valores, porque solo los principios y los valores de Dios nos permiten vivir en paz.
So we can have, children can have and live by principles and values that allow us to have peace. Only principles and values based in God are the ones that can produce and guarantee that peace.
Gobernar Guatemala no es fácil.
To govern Guatemala is not an easy thing.
El presidente representa la unidad de la nación.
And the president is supposed to represent the unity of the nation.
Durante mucho tiempo estuvimos enfrentados entre discursos de izquierda, de derecha, de imposición, de teorías que no venían de nuestro agrado, que al final ganó y logramos tener democracia como tenemos hoy.
And for many years we were living in conflict from the left, from the right, and we wouldn't agree on little things. But since we were elected, we have been able to bring unity and to live out a democracy that people wanted.
Y ahora somos pocos los países que conservamos sus principios republicanos y conservadores.
Unfortunately, there are only a few countries left in Latin America that really honor and that have a conservative values.
Pero sin embargo, a pesar de los pesares, seguiremos luchando por la unión de la nación, porque la única forma de unir la nación va a ser a través de la fe.
However, we unify the country, and we believe that the way to bring the country together is by acknowledging faith.
Quiero aquí, delante de ustedes,
And before you, I would like to do today,
reiterar mi compromiso por la vida, por la familia,
to recommit my commitment for life, for peace, for family.
Estoy seguro que Guatemala será luz, faro de luz para las naciones.
I am convinced that Guatemala is going to be a lighthouse for the nation,
No me queda la menor duda.
and I have no doubt about it.
Y estoy seguro también que estaremos en las oraciones de muchas personas en muchas partes del mundo que están orando por nosotros para que podamos derrotar a aquellos que utilizando perversamente la normativa internacional condenan a nuestro Estado como un violador de los derechos humanos porque no aceptamos el aborto como una forma de vida.
I'm going to summarize what he said. But he's saying that in Guatemala we are receiving condemnation, but we are called to live out, and we're committed to maintain the integrity for life, in spite of being or compared as a violator of Cuba and Venezuela and be condemned and
religiosa, con mucho gusto.
Being a dictator for the sake of promoting a religious freedom, I'm okay with that.
Si me van a decir que soy violador de los derechos humanos porque respeto la vida desde su concepción, soy violador de los derechos humanos.
Because if I'm going to be labeled a violator of human rights because I respect life and I protect family, I don't care for that time.
Y si me van a decir, aquí en el Departamento de Estado, en la Organización de las Américas o en cualquier lugar, que soy un presidente fuera del contexto, porque no me ajusto a la realidad actual del mundo, no me gusta la realidad actual del mundo.
And if I'm going to be labeled by the State Department of the United American States of being a president that is out of context, I will confess that I don't care for the current context, and I would rather go against the current.
Yo haré lo que mi conciencia,
I will do what my conscience dictates
lo que mi fe
and what my faith dictates.
me dice que tengo que hacer todos los días.
It tells me what I need to do day in and day out.
Y eso es trabajar por un mundo mejor.
And that is to work towards improving and making better the world.
Aunque sea en un país pequeñito,
Even if I do it through a platform in a small country.
pero un país grande de corazón,
But it's a country that is big in its heart.
al cual los invitamos a que lleguen a conocer.
The one which we invite you to come and visit.
Y ojalá pudiéramos tener una reunión como esta en mi país,
And I look forward to the day when we have a meeting like this in my own country.
porque sería para nosotros un gran respaldo y no sentirnos solos, como a veces nos sentimos, luchando contra grandes enemigos, poderosos enemigos, que quieren lo que nosotros tenemos.
That would be such an encouragement for us in this war that appears to be quite lonely. It would be an encouragement if you were to visit and do something like that, because the war is not ceasing and the fight that we have against is quite difficult.
We just, we're something special.